A little bit. He has two letters that he does need to read into the record. And Chief, when you're done, if you'd hand me the list of the residents that have signed in. Thank you.
Do you have one for me? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a lot of it.
Thank you.
Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to read these letters that were addressed to me as the Chief of Police in Monroeville. They're both from the Pennsylvania State Police, and they date, the first one's dated April 20th, the second one's dated July 17th. The reason I'm reading these letters into the record is because there's been some, we'll just say there's been information that's been put out that may not be properly represented concerning what we're doing at the dispatch center and what we do with our CREA, our criminal history record information, as well as what we do with our NCIC clean access. And it all ties back into the events that occurred obviously last year. And I want to make sure that the public understands that we are, keeping this to a standard. We've actually even volunteered to be part of a audit by the federal government here on October 23rd, 2014. The FBI, Criminal Justice Information Center, will be here to do an audit of a local agency is what we're called. In addition, the Pennsylvania State Police routinely, every 2 years, audits us, and their audit's coming up next week, September 10th, Wednesday of next week. So we are obviously participating quite readily in both of those audits and look forward to any input that they have, and certainly to look at our system that we believe is meeting all the requirements. The first letter, and I'll paraphrase some of these, and they'll be available, obviously, I got a couple extra copies, I think, once it goes around, but I'll read one letter, the entire letter, but the one dated April 20th was just by statute. It's, again, coming from the Pennsylvania State Police, 1800 Embleton Avenue in Harrisburg, addressed to me. By statute, the Pennsylvania State Police is required to conduct an annual audit of at least 5% of all the municipal department plans, policies, and procedures which are implemented pursuant to Section 9106 of the Pennsylvania Crimes Code. This section addresses information in central repositories or automated systems, and more specifically, the storage, and dissemination of protected information within those systems. The purpose of the audit is to ensure that your department has plans, policies, and procedures in place relative to the dissemination of protected information that are in accordance with the statute. I am pleased to advise that an audit of your department's policies and procedures was conducted on April 20th, 2014, and there were no discrepancies identified. And then, thank you, blah, 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 Richard Huff, Intelligence Analyst Supervisor. So that was back in April. In July, prior to that, certainly since the first part of this year, it actually started in 2013, but we cooperated fully with the Pennsylvania State Police Commonwealth Law Enforcement Assistance Network, which is called CLEAN, and that's also part of the National Crime Information Center, CLEAN NCIC. That's how we in the department access any criminal history information or get any information like driver's license. It actually goes through CLEAN to PennDOT to get your driver's license information, ownership on cars. We also enter all our stolen vehicles, stolen guns, stolen articles, that type of stuff in the system. I'll read this letter here. Again, addressed to me, dated July 17, 2014, from the Pennsylvania State Police. A Commonwealth Law Enforcement Assistant Network misuse investigation was completed by Corporal Louis Serafini. This investigation was initiated after allegations of possible CLEAN NCIC misuse surfaced pertaining to the possible dissemination of criminal justice information via Monroeville Alert TS CAD being computer-aided dispatch system. While it was noted through the Attorney General's Office investigation that there were CREA, meaning Criminal History Record Information Act, violations found within the Monroeville Police Department, at this time there is no evidence that the CLEAN NCIC misuse occurred. Through interviews, it was suggested that upon installation of the Alert TS system, there may have been some information coming from NCIC CLEAN that may have been placed into CAD, meaning computer-aided dispatch calls. But it was learned that this practice was stopped once your department became aware of the issue. Due to the lack of specific incidents where this occurred and the fact that no physical evidence is present to suggest whether this occurred or not, this will be carried as an unfounded complaint or an unfounded investigation. I'll explain what unfounded means in a second here. During a February meeting in which clean administrative personnel attended, it was suggested routine checks of the Monroeville Police Department by the clean administrative section would take place to ensure your department remains compliant with clean NCIC policies and procedures. Triennially, I guess a 3-year audit will take place in the fall of 2014 to precede an FBI criminal justice information audit that will occur in October. As I stated earlier, September 10th is the date for the state police audit. The federal government will audit us on October 23rd. While the clean administrative section recognizes that your department personnel were cooperative during the investigation, it is still our responsibility to uphold the integrity of the system and to investigate all allegations of clean NCIC misuse. This letter shall serve as a notice at this time the investigation into clean NCIC misuse at the Monroeville Police Department is unfounded. Again, I'll tell you what unfounded is under investigation. If you have any questions concerning the contents of this letter misuse investigation, please feel free to contact me. A phone number, and it's Sergeant Kevin P. Smith, the clean section supervisor. Now, unfounded in there states the following: an unfounded investigation is the allegation was false or not factual. That's what unfounded means.
Could you
That's
repeat
a
that?
standard policy. Say again?
Could you repeat that?
And that, when an allegation is listed as unfounded, it's the allegation was false or not factual. So that's what the state police did. Now, I can tell everybody here in the listening audience, and certainly I report to you, Mayor, Council, and Municipal Manager, we cooperated fully with this investigation. Those corporals, there was actually 2 corporals from the state police, spent many hours here, interviewed many people, including myself, interviewed the proprietor, meaning the Alert TS system, the management people by conference call in Ohio, interviewed, I believe in the manager said it on some of the interviews that were taking place we had. So I know that they looked at that because that was one of the major concerns we had when we started to rehire these dispatchers. Because if the dispatchers would not have had access to NCIC Clean, they could not have been rehired. And that's the reason we made the decision to rehire, because their investigation found it to be unfounded. So I just wanted to set the record straight there. Obviously, we can put these letters on the website or do whatever you want. They're letters they know they're going to be disseminated. Mayor?
Very good, thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Good job, Chief.
Thank you.
And ladies